as you can see, I brought you guys a little bit closer for eyebrows, and I pinned back my bangs. I just wanted you guys to get a nice up close view for what I do for my eyebrows. So this is really the only brow pencil thing that I actually really like, because I'm very picky about my eyebrows, and on most days I just don't fill them in because I'm lazy. But I like this L'Oreal Brow Stylist one. It comes with a spoolie on this end and then your product on this end. So first I'm going to use the spoolie and brush out my eyebrows. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my eyebrow pencil. And this has more of an angled tip, as you can see. It's thicker. I like this instead of just like a small pencil one, because I don't like to stand here for 5 hours and drawing little eyebrow hairs into my eyebrows. This is just a quick on the go one. So what I first do is I'm going to brush out my eyebrows again, and then I'm going to draw a line underneath the brow, but it's still going to be within the brow line, so it's not too weird and choppy and you just don't see a line right there. So that's what I do first. Then I'm going to go back in and brush these out. That's a key trick for what I do for eyebrows, is I constantly brush them out. Just go back in and fill that line in a little bit more. So now I'm going to actually start with my tail down here. I'm going to start where my arch is, and I'm just going to bring it down and connect it with that other line. And as you can see, my tail isn't super pointy, which is okay. I mean, if you want to leave it like that, that's fine. I'm going to go in with concealer a little bit later and just conceal that a little bit. So as you can see, that's all pretty much filled in. Once again, I'm going to go in with concealer and shape that all up. So as you can see right here is sparse and it looks weird. So I'm just going to go in and connect the top part with my arch so that everything is nice and together. So that's already added quite a bit right there. So now I'm just going to go in and brush upwards with these top brows, because I'm not going to start drawing a line right here and then fill it in, because that'll make you look like you have block eyebrows, and that's just not the look we're going for today. So I'm just going to brush those out a little bit. And it'll make it look like a nice natural brow, even though you do have it more filled in. So there you go. So now I would just go in with concealer and shape out the lines, and I'll come back for that. So as you can see, I have both my brows done. I just wanted to quickly do this brow off camera to save a little bit of time. So now I'm going to go in with my concealer, and I'm going to use the same shade as my face, the Tarte one. And I'm going to go back in with my angled brush. Just going to move my mirror a little bit forward. And so the reason I'm doing this is to just add a little bit more shape to my brows. Cover maybe a little bit of those baby brow hairs that need to be waxed. There you go. That is the difference right there. I like doing this, but I don't typically do it every time I do my brows. So I'm going to do the other one off camera quick, and we'll be right. Now that they are both carved out, I guess you could call it, I'm going to go in with a brow gel. The reason I like to use a brow gel is I brush up my hairs and it stays all day exactly where I like my brows to be. My brows get pretty wild, so I have to gel them down so that they don't get crazy. But I really like the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. This is, if I were to go for a natural look on some days, I would just brush my brows and leave this. Like, that is just the most natural thing I can do typically. So that's what I'm going to do. And it does have this really cool wand where it has longer bristles on the top to brush through your brows. So I just brush them through. And then wherever you leave them to dry, that is where they'll stay. So there we go. That's our brows. And now for my favorite part of all time, we're going to move on to eyes. Okay, for eyes today, we're going to keep it super natural because that's the whole point of my senior project. So I'm just going to, this is the palette that I'm going to recommend to you. This is basically, an eyelash was on it. My life. This is basically a dupe for, it's super dirty, sorry. It's a dupe for Becca's, ooh, cool. It's a dupe for Becca's, Jane Iredale Spring palette, I believe. These shades right here, are basically the same ones she has in that palette. Really love that palette. Highly recommend checking out her Jane Iredale line. Such a beautiful, fun, makeup line. But this is just what I'm going to use today for my eyes. Obviously, if you wanted to stop here and just apply a little bit of mascara, that is perfectly fine too. That would be gorgeous for this look. But I'm going to show you guys how to just spice it up a little bit. So these are the 5 that I'm going to recommend to you guys. So first I have this like, it's a blender brush, I would call it. It is like flat right there as you can see, but then it spreads out right here. It's really nice to just add shadow in there and then go in and blend it out. Really love this one. This is a super fluffy blender shade. I just use this for all over in my crease. I love this brush, and if you were to purchase one brush in your lifetime, I would purchase one of these two. Those two are like one of my favorite brushes. So next up is a packer brush, I like to call it. This is what I could use for my carving out my brows, my pimples, or adding shimmer right there. I really love that brush. That is another one that you could just purchase and use kind of all over. This second one is, I don't really know how to explain it. It's smaller, kind of more dense, but it's still fluffy at the same time. I typically use this for highlighting my inner corner, my brow bone, right here. Some days I just want a little bit of highlight, so this is a really good eye brush. You can use it all over once again. The next one is an eyebrow brush, they typically call it. It's kind of like the this one, but this has product with it. This one just has an angled brush on the end that you can use for your eyebrows, your eyeliner, even just add a smoky line like we're going to do today. And then it also comes with a spoolie. I just think that's a really good investment to have, even if you may not use it too often. But I'm going to show you guys these 2 shades right here are very good for just dusting all over. I kind of use that as my primer thing, or I use concealer. I really love concealer. Typically you want like a wet one, but for today's look, since we're doing a natural look, I'm going to use these powders all over because I don't want the shadows to be too harsh or too dark or not very well blended. So that's the whole reasoning for me using those light shades all over. So next up, I'm going to go in with this light brown shade. It doesn't look very dark in the pan, but it is a nice brown shade. And I'm just taking my fluffy brush with that and I'm blending that out. So obviously if you wanted the shadows to be more pigmented and darker and to show up a little bit more, you wouldn't use those first 2 shades that I use, those light shades. But since today is more of a natural look, that's typically what I like to do. So as you can see, we have that nice taupe brown color in our crease. So now I'm going to go in with my smaller blending brush, and I'm going to go in with this light pink right here. Shades? Oh, there is. So that is Tantation. And then the first brown color we used was Soft Touch. And then these 2 shades right here were In the Buff and Bare It All. So I'm going to go in with Tantation right here. And I'm just going to apply that right in the crease, kind of on my lower eye right here. And obviously these shades are not super pigmented, but I chose this palette because you have so many options. You can go super dark with these shades, or you can keep it super light with these top shades. Obviously, whatever you wanted to do, you could. You could mix them all together. That is what I like to do sometimes, but I just figured this is a really good starter palette for those who aren't very into makeup. And you can get this at Walmart once again. I believe it's like $12 or $13, which is really cheap for an eyeshadow palette. I keep my shadows pretty rounded towards the edge. Sometimes I like to keep them more cut and straight, that is when I'm trying to make my face look, you know, the word snatched again. But that's really just going to bring it up. But I like it more rounded because we're doing a softer look today. So now that we have that all in our crease, I'm going to go back in with that same brush we used for Temptation. I'm going to go in with Smokin' Hot, and I'm brushing that off because that is darker. But yeah, as you can see, that is a darker shade. Now I'm going to go in with my fluffy brush again, blend everything out. Take a little bit of that pink shade. For what I'm going to do today, I'm actually going to go in with my Packer brush. And I'm going to go in with this light shimmer shade right up here. This is a gorgeous shimmer shade. Totally love this. That is one of the main reasons I bought this palette, was for that shade, because I swatched it. I just grabbed my finger in it and I put it on my hand just to see how it was. And it was gorgeous. So I just loved it ever since then. So I put some on there, and I put setting spray on there because that's just going to make it stick to the eyeshadow or the eyelid more. Dip back into the eyeshadow a little bit, and now I'm just going to brush that on there very lightly. So I'm just kind of swiping / patting that on there. As you can see, that brings a nice highlight to your eyes, and it kind of makes your eyes pop. So next thing we're going to do with our angled eyebrow brush is we're going to go in with this darker shade down here, and I'm just going to barely tap into that, and I'm going to go right along my lash line. And the reason I'm doing this is it adds a little bit of depth to your eyes, and it makes your lashes pop so much. It makes them look 10 times thicker, and it really is just a nice touch to add. It takes 2 minutes. I pretty much do this for every look I do. I just add a little bit of darker eyeshadow and a line right across my lash line. No, it just kind of adds a smokier effect. I really like that. You do not have to do it at all. It is definitely not necessary. Highlighting my inner corner and my brow bone today. I'm going to go back in with the highlighter I used on my face. And this is where I'm going to use this small, fluffier brush. I'm going to dip right in there, and I'm going to go right here. I like doing this once again because it just brings focus to your eyes. Everything about makeup is bringing focus one place or another. So yeah, and I do it on my brow bone right here. Just makes your eyebrows look a little more arched. And once again, we're going with the word snatched. I really need to stop using that word. So there we go. That's all I typically do. You can go back in with your fluffy brush and add a little darkness down here. I don't really like too much darkness on my lower lash line, but if you do yourself, you certainly can. So next step is, if you wanted to go in with an eyeliner, which I am today, I'm using the It No Tug eyeliner. This eyeliner lasts all freaking day and never leaves my lash line or my waterline. And I love this eyeliner so much. I highly, highly, highly recommend purchasing this one. I really like it. I don't know how many times I can say I really like it. But yeah, it is such a good eyeliner. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull my eye down. You really shouldn't do this, but this is the only way I can really get my waterline. I'm just going to apply that to my waterline. Once again, you do not have to do this by any means. I just like doing this because I like a little bit of depth, as you can see. And I am going to apply it to my top waterline. So yeah, as you can see the difference, if you want to keep it super light and fun, you can do this side. If you want to smoke it up a little bit more, you can add the water or the eyeliner in. Now I'm going to go in with mascara. I have I actually have 3 mascaras I'm going to recommend to you guys today. These are my favorite mascaras that I've ever used. I've gone through, when I say I've gone through probably millions of mascaras, I mean it. So the first 2 are more expensive mascaras. Obviously there is plenty at the drugstore that work if you are interested. But I like the Benefit Roller Lash. This just really curls your eyelashes and adds length to them. Or I like the Bad Gal Bang Mascara from Benefit as well. This one really makes your eyelashes thick and it really makes them pop out. I really like those. But for my cheaper mascara for today, I'm going to do the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. Actually, my friend recommended this one to me, and then I just fell in love, and it's like $9 at Walmart. It's so good. I really like this one. And it does kind of have a different wand, but I'm going to show you how it applies to the lashes. It's like the weirdest thing ever. But first I got to curl my eyelashes. So, I typically do this before and after mascara. Now, when I say after mascara, I mean after my mascara has dried and it's not going to rip off my eyelashes. If you are too lazy to do your eyebrows or eyelashes, like put mascara or fill them in every day, I would definitely recommend getting an eyelash tint and lift or an eyebrow tint. I've had both and I loved them both. They just made my life 10 times easier. I'm actually scheduled to get an eyelash lift and tint here soon with Becca, and I'm literally counting down the days because I'm so excited. Like, it just makes my eyelashes so pretty. So as you can see, that it's just a very lengthening, but it also adds thickness, and it also curls them. It's just an all-in-one mascara that I really, really recommend. Obviously, if you wanted to do fake lashes, you obviously can. I'm not going to do fake lashes today because I want to keep it super light and natural, but if you wanted to, you certainly can. I'm just going to apply some to my lower lashes. So as you can see the difference between here and there, you can add another layer and really make it pop. But yeah, I'm just going to go do the other eye off camera and I'll be all done. You can obviously see down here I smudged a little bit. So the best thing you can do if you smudge or, you know, brush yourself with mascara and you have a black spot somewhere, let it dry and then go in with your spoolie or a Q-tip and just scrape it off. That is the best thing I can do without smudging it. You know, that's what's really going to work. And you won't have any product left behind. So now that we're done with the eyes, we're going to move on to the next video.